All right, we are going to get started. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Lee Howarth. I'm in product management at Ping Identity, and I'm joined by Mary Lynch from Microsoft, and we are going to take you through really the value of this Ping Microsoft partnership. And it really is about extending the number of applications that can be controlled through Azure AD. So what I'm going to do is very briefly talk about what the partnership involves. Mary's then going to take some time and go through just describing the value around Azure AD. And then I'm going to talk about what Ping Access brings to that entire solution. It really is a very compelling solution when you look at the two technologies together. So just a very quick overview of this partnership, right? So, and there are two key pieces to this. If any of you were in Andre's session just before this one, he described what was announced last week, which is really the Ping Access for Azure AD. And that's all about extending the types of applications that can be supported and controlled through the Azure AD control plane. But there's also another piece of this, right? And this is, how many of you are customers? Ping customers today. All right, so how many of you are using Ping Federate to connect into Office 365? Okay, quite a few of you, right? So we know that today, you can do this, but we are improving the integration side of things, so things like Intune integration, etc., with Ping Fed, but it goes deeper, right? So what we're going to be doing as well is to have Ping Fed be an option within AD Connect. Right, so today, if any of you used AD Connect, you'll see there you've got ADFS is really the only option. So Ping Fed is going to be another option, so obviously that's all really about streamlining the configuration setup of connecting Ping Fed into Azure AD. All right, so that's really the two key sides of the technology partnership there. So Mary, I'm going to hand over to you.
Hello, thanks Lee. So I'm Mary Lynch, I'm with Microsoft. I run the Azure Active Directory product marketing team. So as you can see here, you probably all know about Azure Active Directory that I probably don't need to remind you. But it's a cloud and identity access management solution that provides secure, single sign-on to any application on the cloud, or any application in the cloud or on premises. So you can integrate with your on-premises directories, providing federation, identity management, device management, and then also, extending that reach for your people, your partners in the cloud. So when you think of traditional remote access, you think of how it can be costly, it may not work for all devices, and then in addition to, when you think about Azure Active Directory Application Proxy, that is a remote service that publishes your on-premises apps outside your corporate network, and then in addition to, extends your Azure Active Directory on-premises apps using a central management point for your applications. So let's talk about how this works, right? You've got a user that will have a remote access into a link that will therefore extend into the Microsoft Azure Active Directory via connectors for your on-premises applications. And now, I will turn it over to Lee that will also talk about the additional capabilities that we will bring forward.
Okay, thank you. All right, so hopefully you guys are getting the idea with the traditional way of providing that remote access with VPNs and things like that, right? With the Azure AD control plane and the app proxy, you're really able to provide that secure tunnel, is the way I think of it, without the need to deploy and manage VPNs. And obviously with that, you can then apply different levels of control, conditional access as needed, and then again extend that to these additional applications. So let me just talk a bit more about Ping Access. How many of you are actually familiar with Ping Access today? Okay, so that's good. Right, so Ping Access is Ping's access security component really of the Ping Identity platform, right? It's your typical web access management type capability, plus then the additional benefit that you can protect also the APIs. Now we have both what are termed as gateway enforcement points and agents that I'm going to deploy on particular web applications such as IIS, Apache, We also have an Nginx agent, and F5 have also just delivered an agent as well for ping access. So it's about protection, obviously, of those web content, the APIs, obviously designed for scale. It can be deployed in both your enterprise and cloud infrastructure. So we know a lot of customers these days are deploying it within AWS as an example. And that works very well with this modern approach because we use standards, right? We use OpenID Connect to establish the sessions and maintain those sessions. So it really does operate very well in this extended enterprise. So that's ping access. What's ping access for Azure Active Directory? Well, it's really taking the ping access code and providing it to Premium AD customers free of charge for up to 20 URLs, right? So it is the same ping access code, and you'll notice before here where we've got ping federate down there on the right side and ping access. So ping federate provides the authentication, the session management for ping access, and then you've got the policy server. With ping access for Azure Active Directory, that is replaced by, obviously, Microsoft Azure Active Directory. And what we're doing there is we are using that same OpenID Connect to establish the sessions, and then we are getting information from Azure AD that we can then forward in really headers. Think of it as a simple way of headers to these back-end applications. So you're really extending the type of applications that you can support through this control plane. As I said, up to 20 URLs is free of charge. All right. Now, if we look at the capabilities, the difference between ping access and ping access for Azure AD, again, remember that this is the exact same code base, right? This is ping access 4.3. But what we do, because we are focused with ping access for Azure AD on providing single sign-on to these applications, we've really limited the capabilities with the license that we provide for ping access for Azure AD. Right, so you'll see there the capabilities in the first column, or the middle column there, ping access for Azure AD. It is really things that are used to authenticate and provide some identity information to the back-end application. All right. Now, if you then decide that you get to the app URL 21, right, or you just decide you want to take advantage of some of the additional ping access capabilities, like the API protection, doing things like token mediation to integrate with third-party WAM systems, right, then you can actually just purchase the ping access license, you apply that license, and everything else just magically gets turned on, right? But key thing to know, it's the same exact code base. We're just restricting certain things by the license that it sees, okay? So I'm not going to spend too much time going through this exact flow of how things work, right? But you'll notice in this box, so it starts at the top, the remote user comes into the Azure AD control plane, and then the way that that connects through to the enterprise is through the Azure AD application proxy. And then you'll see the ping access piece there, so it's really sitting behind that app proxy. All right, so for certain types of applications, when it sees the user is going to go to that URL, ping access is going to check to see if it has a session. If it doesn't, it's going to redirect to the Azure AD identity system. It's going to provide, using OpenID Connect, a session if authorized. But keep in mind here that these applications then that is going to be provide access through ping access, you've got all those benefits of the conditional access, the fraud protection, all those different things that you have within Azure AD, you're now applying them to these different applications. All right. So we keep talking about these extended applications. So what types of applications are we talking about? Well, it's really any standard web application that isn't Microsoft enabled. Right? So it could be an application that you've developed that's running on Apache system, or it might be running on IIS, but you've configured that application to receive headers as a way to authenticate and identify the system. But here's the way it gets really interesting, right? If I can add things like my Oracle applications or my SAP applications into that control plane, you really are increasing the value of this cloud-based identity system. So you'll see the types of apps, and obviously, if you've got your homegrown applications, if any of you have just done any web development, you'll know it's very, very easy to header enable applications, right? So again, standard web apps, homegrown applications, you should be able to integrate those apps with this system very, very easily. Okay? And again, those headers that we're going to send through ping access can be used for both authentication and then additional identification within the application. And so the app might obviously say, good morning, Lee, or something like that, or it might do some additional access control itself based on the claim information that has been received and forwarded from Azure AD, forwarded by ping access. And then, there are certain applications that we know have been integrated using perhaps SiteMinder or Oracle Access Manager. These applications that have been coded might have been just looking for the SM user type of header. Again, we can forward that type of information to those applications. Now, this isn't integrating directly with SiteMinder at this case. We can do that, but it actually involves using Ping Federate as part of this to do the WAM migration pieces that we've been working on over the last year or two. But if it's an application that was coded to work and look for that SM user header, you can do that again very, very easily with ping access. So how do you get access? Question. So that's a great question. The question here is ping access smart enough, I guess, to go look at the policies in SiteMinder and things like that? With this solution, you are relying really on the access control capabilities within Azure AD, right? So it's determining whether or not it's going to present like the icon for the application itself to then go through. Now, you could do some additional integration, and you could do some WAM integration, but that would then involve the Ping Federate side of this equation, okay? So how do you get access to this ping access for Azure AD, right? So we've tried to make this as easy as possible, and I think based on the feedback, it's going to get easier and easier as we go forward with this. But from the Azure AD control plane, so the administration interface, right? When you define a particular application, you'll see there it's a single sign-on via headers or something like that. And when you click on it, it actually drops down a box and says, to do this, you need ping access. And it gives you the option to click, you get redirected to ping, and we actually inform you at that time that we are going to send some tenant information to ping, right? Because what we want to do is once we've get you to our system, we want to have you register, or if you do obviously have a ping identity already, you can just log in, but we then take that tenant information and we associate it with your identity, just for reporting purposes, really, okay? So once you've done that, you've registered or you've logged in, right? I then get access to the ping access page where I can download either the gateway or the agents, and I can also download the license file that is for ping access for Azure AD. Once I've done that, I will then install ping access, apply the license file, and it's going to come up, and again, remember those restrictions that I talked about, but it's also restricted to Microsoft as the OpenID Connect provider, all right? And then when you actually create the configuration for that provider, we've made it a little easier for you, so you just have to put your particular tenant ID with the actual main Microsoft URL, all right? So again, fairly simple. We would love to be able to make it simpler in the future. Wouldn't it be great just if I could just click on a setup file and it just runs the install, configures it for me, and everything's done? That's definitely something that we are going to be looking at doing in the future based on the feedback. Okay. So with that, I think we did want to make sure we left enough time for questions, all right? But there are some other sessions that I wanted to draw your attention to. Now, obviously, the middle one is this. The one yesterday, we wanted to obviously call attention to this because this was actually a masterclass around configuring ping access with Azure AD. Now, I think the content should be available after, obviously, CIS is done, but it was a very, very well-attended session. I think they had about 150 people in there. I believe from feedback so far, it was very, very good. So if you want to get more information on that, then you can do so. And then on Wednesday, Microsoft are also going to be doing a session probably similar to that, talking about a bit more technical depth and details around the solution as well. Okay. So with that, I think we're done. Any questions? So the question is to really enable the additional ping access features. Is it just a license update? Exactly, that's all it is, right? So when you put that new license file on, the things that are grayed out will just all of a sudden appear, and you'll be able to continue. The configuration stays the same, so obviously we don't want to disrupt what you have configured in terms of the OpenID Connect provider with Microsoft, and then any URLs that you've defined. But yet all of the other services, the APIs, the additional policies will just get turned on. Okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the question there is about WebSeal. WebSeal today, because it has Kerberos and the app proxy has Kerberos integration, is that a supported configuration? I believe it is. Yep. And are there any additional benefits? No, but you might have just had some additional things that you wanted to send in terms of header information to those back-end applications. So that's really the only additional benefit that I could think of. So remember, it's single sign-on plus some what I just call identity injection. Right? Yeah. Okay, so I think the question, let's make sure I'm understanding, is how does Exchange objects work with this? I'll be honest with you, say I've got absolutely no idea, but I have two very technical people from Microsoft. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll take it offline if you don't mind. Okay. Any other questions? You as excited as I am about this? Yeah. Great question. So the question is just a standalone. If you are already a ping access customer, you can configure it to work with Azure AD. Yep, absolutely no problems. Oh, so can I deploy ping access in Azure AD? You can, if it's just the standard infrastructure as a service. So you'd have to have it would be running on like a Windows or a Linux platform. Yeah, exit. Yeah, no problems at all. Okay, I think we are done. Well, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Okay, bye.